houses, you know,
Okay.
and they have fireworks, etc.
Holy cow.
Good morning and welcome to the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, December 16th. Will you please join me in a salute to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm Larry Hedkins, currently serving as chair of the Lancaster County Board. And to my immediate left is Deb Shore. To my right, Jane Rabel and Roma Amundsen. And we want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. And this will be our last meeting before Christmas, so I want to take that opportunity. Assisting us with the meeting this morning will be Deputy County Attorney Brittany Behrens. Corey Beatty will be our recording clerk, and we'll begin the agenda with our county clerk, Dan Nolde.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of our written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk's staff. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on Tuesday, December 9th, 2014.
Move approval.
Are there additions or corrections? If not, would you call the roll, please?
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Abstain?
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 3 yes, 1 abstention. Number 2 are claims. Approval of all claims processed through Tuesday, December 16th, 2014.
Approval of the claims. Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is number 3, special presentations, recognition of the Cuba Living in Limbo art exhibit at the County City Building, Jean Baer.
Welcome, Jane.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been such a thrill to have this exhibit put in this building. I should be at this.
Yeah, up to, yeah.
Thank you so much for allowing this space to be such a great gallery space and inviting me to be a part of it. It's been a real pleasure. So I brought a book today that has some of the images that are out in the hall. So I thought I would just show you a few of those. Roma asked me a moment ago, how were you able to get into Cuba? But in this day and age, Americans can go to Cuba. They must be on a very highly structured, it's called people-to-people cultural tour. And it's structured by our government, not by Cuba's. They are overrun with tourists from Canada and all over Europe. But our government, since we still have the embargo against Cuba, we are not supposed to be frolicking on the beaches or playing golf or adding to the economy in that way. But we can do these getting to know people tours, which is my favorite kind of vacation anyway. So I went there in April for a week with 11 other photographers. And we I took 5,500 pictures in one. Digital, sometimes you just go overboard. So it was tough selecting the 20 that I have on the wall here. I had to hurt the feelings of a lot of those pictures who thought they were my favorites, and they are, but you know how it is when you're a parent and children all want to be your favorites. So anyway, I'll just show you a few of those and make a couple of comments about them. Let's see. I just put this here. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. There we go. This picture was of interest to me because these boys are playing with that button on a string thing that maybe, yeah, exactly, Larry, that we had when we were children. And it's a game that's literally hundreds of years old, but it is still a poor country for most of the population. And so they have to make up their own games, which they do. Their children are very, very physically involved. They're always running, playing, starting various games. And so I also like this one because of the variety of skin colors. There's lots of intermarriage. There was originally a huge black population because of enslavement by the Spaniards of West Africans. And so it's a nice melange now of skin colors in Cuba. And this one is often people's favorite that's out there. This guy, I don't know, he might only be 30, but he's been smoking tobacco all of his life. He's a tobacco farmer. As you can see by the photograph next to it, he's very gaunt. But now he has a little bit of supplemental income because he can open up his farm to American tourists and tell a little bit about it. So. I wanted to include this one simply because people are now finally, since Fidel retired and Raul is in charge, people are now allowed to have some private enterprise a little bit. So this is a flower vendor, but the government still remains the country's only wholesaler. The only way to get goods in, unless you have a friend who'll bring you this or that little thing. But the major shipment or ordering of goods is all still done by the Castro government. So if you want to be a flower seller, you must grow them at home. And that's fine, except that they don't have these hybrids that last forever. So in the hot Cuban sun, if you don't sell what you have on that day, they're dead. So it's a kind of a risky business, but I think people are really pleased to have a chance to do some entrepreneurial things. Beautiful. And this is one of my favorite things. If you've seen it outside, you see that I've titled it "Things That Are Round," and I thought, what an opportunity! You know, the sort of journalist in me thought, well, this is interesting, but the artist in me thought, wow, look at all those round shapes. So, as probably you know, when the Cuban government took over in 1959, within a year, all the Americans were gone and all American property was nationalized, was seized. So there are all of these wonderful cars from the late 50s that are still there, early 50s, some of the 40s, and they have just fixed them up with baling wire and twine and duct tape. And so that's a real point of pride to have a nice shiny car like this. I'll just show you one quick example of the fact that not all of them are fixed up so well. Here's an example. I love this little boy, and he allowed me to take his picture. So when you look on the inside of that car, you can see the interior is not at all fixed up, and the exterior is several colors. And I really got a kick out of the fact that on the back of the vehicle, there's a Playboy sticker. And I thought, yeah, that car's a real chick magnet. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. There. And then the last one I'll show you is this one that I just call For the Duration. There are a lot of people there that have seen freedom come and go again over the years. Here's someone who obviously thinks, you know, this is just another iteration. I'm going to sit here, this is where I live, and tell me if I have to do something else. But for now, this is where I am. So I don't want to take up too much more time of your meeting, but did just want to thank you again for having me. If you have any questions, of course, I'd love to answer them.
Mr. Rabel.
Well, Jean, I just have to say thank you so much for this exhibit. I know I'm on the selecting team, and we were just mesmerized by all the photos, and it is so unique, and it is so interesting to have a different perspective. So we appreciate your travels, and most importantly, we appreciate your sharing your wonderful photography that you brought back to us all. So thank you so much. It really was an eye-opener.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, of course, for me to share them. So thanks so much.
Well, you mentioned the opportunity to have these displayed in the city-county building. Well, this lady is part of the reason for that. She served on the Public Building Commission's selection committee to work through this with Liz O'Shea, and at first they didn't want it over in the Hall of Justice, and Jane just kept working to find a place for this, and it's been a wonderful addition. The first Fridays are an excellent activity, so
Great.
we thank you for your work.
Thank you for doing that. It's a great opportunity for all of us who are chosen to have work there. So.
And I so much wanted to see a picture of Mora Castle. In 1958, my father and I visited Cuba. Our landlord invited us over there. He was running a nickel mine. And so for a boy of 13, it left quite an impression on me.
Yes.
And I can remember going through a White Owl cigar factory, and little kids in dim light were hand-rolling cigars. And so you just knew something was going to happen because Batista
gosh.
was the person the United States was backing, and he wasn't a good ruler, no question about it.
Definitely. Oh, I'd love to talk to you more about that sometime.
We will. We will.
All right.
But
Great.
thank you so much for sharing this art, and it's a beautiful display, and we'd urge the public to come to the City County Building, the main corridor, and take a look at this art display. It's
Thank
excellent.
you. By the way, I also have greeting cards that go with the show, and I brought some of those for each of you, so I'll just pass them around. I've got a card of cars and one of a clown, Happy Pants card, so just help yourself, and I'll pick them up at the end of the row here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean.
You wanna
I was
make-
going to say, I enjoy your sense of humor. Yeah.
3B is a Lancaster County Visitors Improvement Fund grant, an amount of $2,500 to the Lincoln Fencing Association, doing business as the Lincoln Fencing Club for promotion of a fencing clinic in conjunction with the State Games of America to be held July 26th through 28th, 2015, Cat Bish, Lincoln Fencing Association.
Come on up.
Yep.
Come on up.
This only seems appropriate we do this in your last week because this is where you'll be spending your future.
That's correct. The grant that we submitted was for a very high-level clinic that we would like to host before the State Games of America. Being in the Midwest, we figured that we are a good attraction. They had over 950 fencers when it was in Pittsburgh. We figured to draw at least that many. I have no idea where we're putting this yet, but someplace that will hold 1,000 fencers. And we figured that one of the draws would be bringing into, when I say top level, I mean international coaches to run a clinic for 2 days. And we're hoping that that draws at least 50 people. So what the grant would do is to do the marketing for this. We can go through lots of typical venues for fencing. We have the Fencing Magazine and we have address lists, but to do marketing not only to others to come, but also to our own community to come and enjoy the games. So the marketing, $2,500 would be a tremendous help to a small club like us.
Well, we know this has been a passion of yours for many, many years. They look at little petite Kit Bash and then wonder why she commands so much power and respect. It's because you put a sword in her hand. She does that. We really appreciate all that you've done for the kids and the youth of Lincoln. There's probably no such thing as a bad kid. You just need to motivate them and inspire them, and you certainly have over the years. So.
Thank you, Larry.
Mr. Clerk, would you read accompanying item 5A, please?
A grant contract between the Lincoln Fencing Association, doing business as the Lincoln Fencing Club, and Lancaster County in an amount of $2,500 from the Lancaster County Visitors Improvement Fund for the purpose of promoting a fencing clinic in conjunction with the State Games of America to be held on July 26th through the 28th, 2015.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Hudgens.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 3C is recognition of Kit Besh, Human Services Administrator, for her dedicated service to the people of Lancaster County.
Kit, would you like to come up? And Mr. Noldy's going to read a little bit about you, but when he gets to it, we're going to go over this twice because during college, you're a member of the Floating Rocks, an elite group of physical education members who didn't know how to swim but graduated state swimming instruction certificates.
Okay. Now you're digging. You're digging
Well,
way back.
all I can say is welcome to the club because I don't know how to swim either. My best chance is to dive at the bottom and run like heck. So. Dan?
Kit was hired as Human Services Administrator in November 1985. She came to this position from the Lincoln Lancaster County Commission on the Status of Women, where she was the director. Kit graduated from Ohio State University with a Master of Arts degree in Education and from the University of Wisconsin with a degree in Education. In 1990, the University of Wisconsin Wall of Fame inducted Kit into the women's fencing, women's field hockey, and women's golf. While a student, she was a member of the Wisconsin Under-19 fencing team and attended national fencing championships and received the Women's Intercollegiate Athletics Award. During college, she was a member of the Floating Rocks, an elite group of physical education majors who don't know how to swim but graduated with state swimming instruction certificates. After graduating with her master's degree, Kit was a head coach, teacher for women's track, cross country, and fencing at Ohio State University. While there, she developed the women's fencing team into one of the top contenders in the country. She developed a comprehensive women's track and field program, and she coached the first women's cross-country team at Ohio State University. Currently, she is a coach for the Lincoln Fencing Club. She's been fencing for 40 years. When asked why she likes to coach, she stated, "The sense of self-satisfaction one gets when a fencer succeeds. Maybe a small step, maybe a huge one. In fencing and in life, it's worth every second spent." She enjoys fencing, golfing, reading for fun, and the Green Bay Packers. 78 to the present, her career has been in human services. Kit has been actively involved in the Lincoln Lancaster County community since her arrival here in 1980. She is a strong partner and vital part of the community. She is a person who provided avenues for the program funding. She is a collaborator. She helps others think outside the box. She is someone who has encouraged and helped train executive directors for human service agencies. Some of her accomplishments include creation of the New Americans Task Force. She was instrumental in developing the Teen Court in Lancaster County. She designed and provided the visionary board training for nonprofit boards. She participated in the development of the Human Services Federation and established the Human Services Keno Prevention Fund for Lincoln and Lancaster County. She has participated in juvenile pretrial diversion program development and written many grant applications. The board would like to thank you for 32 years of service, starting in 1982 at the Commission on the Status of Women. The community has been a beneficiary of your work and dedication, and we wish you all the best in your retirement.
It's with a great deal of pride and gratitude that the board would like to present you with this plaque commemorating your service to Lancaster County. You've truly made a difference. It's a better place to live because Kit Besh was here. Had the pleasure of working with you for nearly 30 years, and there aren't many of us left that were together to start. But we know you're going to enjoy your retirement, and you're going to keep on doing things that help people and make this a quality place to live. Thank you.
I don't know what a couple of words one says after something like that.
You can say a more in a couple.
I should probably start out by saying I'm not going anywhere. Lincoln is the city that I've fallen in love with, and Lincoln Lancaster County is where I'm going to spend the rest of my time, with exceptions of a few visits to Omaha to see my grandson. It's been a ride. But you know, it's funny, out of that whole resume, you pick swimming, the floating rocks. But you know what? Sometimes when you go in and you're behind the eight ball and you're not like everybody else, whether it's behind in money, you're behind in swimming, you're behind in something, you try harder. And then when you succeed and you're actually become a floating rock and you get your certificate, you look back and you go, I couldn't even swim when I started. Those are the kind of things that teach you that you can do stuff even though it doesn't look like it's possible. That you have to take the risk, you have to take the chance. There were a whole 3 or 4 of us in that group, and every one of us got through because we all helped each other. And we got through because we asked for help from other people. And those are just the kind of lessons, when I look back at it, I mean, those are the things that I do now. I look to my colleagues, I look to people like you who are on the county board who have authority, and I learn from the people around me. And if people can do that in a city like this, lots of things can happen. I know last night there was a tremendous opportunity to talk to lots of people, and most of you were there. It was an incredible experience to step back at that doorway and just watch people talk. To know that Lincoln has so many different colors and so many different kinds of people that all make this possible. You're going to hire a new human services administrator, and they're going to do a fantastic job. it's time for me to step back. It's time for new eyes. It's time for new energy. It's time for my energy to do new things. I will be back. I will still be with the fencing club. I will still have new ideas, and when I have them, I'll bring them to you. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Jane?
Well, Kit, it has been such an honor to work with you. You have been the most tireless advocate for human services and juvenile justice, and our county, our city, our state owes you a huge debt of gratitude of leading the way. You've been a dynamo, and the thing that you have really worked so hard is to educate all of us to realize how important it is to continue to invest in human services, because that investment, those county taxpayer dollars, go towards services and partnerships and collaboration with all the great nonprofits in our city and our county that do so much good. They take the small amount of money we still give them, and they leverage it, and they partner with grants, and they continue to provide amazing services that our county can be so proud of. But we wouldn't be where we are at today if it weren't for your advocacy. You have been the pit bull, the dynamo of human services, and I think we are in such a better place, and we are a leading example across the state of how to deliver services and how to impact so many lives. So with a huge debt of gratitude, we appreciate everything you've done and everything you've brought, the passion and the vision and strong arming when needed. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jane.
Commissioner Shore?
Well, it was my pleasure last night to speak on behalf of the county board at the Community Foundation, and we're grateful to United Way and the Foundation for stepping forward to host that event. We talked a lot about your collaboration, but looking around that room last night, I was thinking about your mentoring role. And there were probably, 50 or 60 nonprofits represented. And we have been through probably 2 or 3 executive directors in some of those entities. And the willingness you had to step forward and with training and mentoring really will make a difference outside your role as human services administrator. So I will miss a lot of things, and you know that. I was thinking last night, the emails that come from you, and in the subject line it says, "I have an idea," and I was like, "Oh God, not again." But your willingness to think outside the box and always advocate for those most in need and at risk, and I'll miss you, and you know that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Amundson?
Yeah, and I guess I just wanted to say, Kit, that when I was running for the county board, I sat down with you and asked you to tell me everything that I needed to know about about human services, and so you were very gracious to provide all that information. And I did have the opportunity to work with you on the veterans deal, and I was really impressed with how you are able to bring diverse groups of people together and create a resounding success. Thank you for your support of the veterans, also with the new Americans and the juveniles. You just have a huge, huge net. So thank you.
Commissioner Smoyer?
Well, I don't know what else I can follow up with besides everything that's been said, but I'm always impressed with your creativity, your honesty, and just your get-to-itiveness. I know there have been times where you've come to me with an idea, and sometimes strong-armed. Other times, more often, you say, "Look, this is going to be this. Here's the benefits. And I've just said, find me a way to make it fit the budget. Find me a way to make it work, and I will get behind you." And every time I challenge you, you came back and like, "All right, here you go." I was actually quite. It was just fantastic. It was like clockwork. So I guess I just admire the fact that you always got done what you needed to get done and just always found a way, which is a very unique trait for anybody and everybody. And so I'm not sure what the new Human Services Administrator is going to bring to the table. I'm sure they'll be wonderful, but just your ability to kind of just poof make things happen was exceptionally impressive and will be greatly missed. Plus, just your personality and I don't know about the Packers, but we can debate that another time.
After last week, neither do I.
No, you'll be greatly missed.
Everybody, thank you. Thank you so very, very much. I'd say this has been a wonderful county board to work with. I ought to know. I've worked with enough of them, and this is one of the best. When you can go to the county board with an idea, and you don't know it'll fly or not, but at least it's entertained. At least it's listened to. That means a lot. I think this community, as it grows past its 300,000 people, remember that those human services and those human service issues continue to grow as well. Your homeless population will continue to grow. Your juvenile justice issues will continue to plague you. And we need to stay not only on top of them, but in front of them. So as you go forward and the city continues to build behind you, I know it's Lancaster County Board and not the City of Lincoln City Council, but I'll tell you what, Lancaster Board floats this city. And you know it. And so as changes happen and as changes occur, don't let them happen behind your back. Be sure you're on top of it and keep moving forward, and the person that's in this position needs to do that. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you for those words of wisdom and your dedicated service. Thank you.
New business 5B is a resolution in matter of authorizing the county clerk to issue payments while the county board is adjourned.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. C is a resolution in matter of approval of official bonds of elected Lancaster County officers and the county surveyor. Elected officials include Joe Nigro, Public Defender, Joe Kelly, County Attorney, Debian, County Treasurer, Dan Nolte, County Clerk, Troy Hawk, Clerk of the District Court, Norm Aguinaw, County Assessor, Pam Dingman, County Engineer, and Terry Wagner, County Sheriff. The county surveyor is Ken Schroeder.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Carries 5-0. Oh, I'm sorry, we skipped old business. We need to go back to 4.
4A, please.
A request from Lutheran Family Services to sublease and remodel approximately 1,876 square feet of space at the former Community Mental Health Center at 2201 South 17th Street in Lincoln for an integrated care, urgent care project per lease agreement with Lutheran Family Services. There is no cost to the county for this work.
Move approval.
Second.
Jane?
Well, I just wanted to comment on this project, that this is very exciting for the county. And this is something, when we transition the Community Mental Health Center to a nonprofit in our community, to have that partnership and offer that primary care along with behavioral health services right in the same building with the same providers. And so this is very exciting, and I'm so thrilled to see Lutheran Family Services step up and feel comfortable enough to take on this next step. And it's wonderful for our community, and I'm really proud to see Lutheran Family Services take it on.
And the integrated service aspect, and particularly the space, is just actually sitting there anyhow, and they're putting it to use, and again, no cost to the county. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. New business 5D is a resolution in matter of designated banks as depositories for Lancaster County for 2015.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Andy, would you like to say a few words about this? County Treasurer Andy Stebbing, and Andy, you've done a remarkable job of passing this out amongst our member banks in Lancaster County.
Thank you so much. I brought with me Michelle Raphael, my banking director. You're absolutely right. We reached out to all the banks, continue to build those relationships. We're adding 2 more banks this year, World's Foremost and State Bank of Table Rock. With the competition with increased banks, where we'll average $50 million spread out, we're getting a much better interest rate. So it's really worked out well, and Michelle's worked very, very hard at this. Do you have anything? So thank you. If you would please approve these 2 banks, we'd be honored.
Any further discussion? Do we have a motion?
Yes.
And a second, so proceed with the roll call, please.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you both for your diligent work.
E is a contract between Lancaster County and K2 Construction for storm sewer improvements at the Lancaster County Adult Detention Facility. The county will pay up to $98,500 for the products and services.
Move approval?
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. F is utility permit number 1233 with Windstream Nebraska, Inc. for the installation of approximately 3/4 mile of underground cable along Northwest 56th Street from Interstate 80 to West Holdridge Street.
Move approval?
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5G is an amendment to County Contract C-13-3 with Mr. Yards and More LLC for lawn mowing and maintenance services at the Community Mental Health Center facilities. The amendment renews the agreement for an additional one-year term from January 8, 2015 through January 7, 2016.
Move approval?
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. H is amendment to County Contract C-14-273 with Cedars Youth Services, Inc. for Cedars Day and Evening Reporting Centers program. The amendment increases the number of youth served by adding 12 additional slots.
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion? We're going to appreciate those 12 extra slots. Call the roll, please.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5I is amendment to County Contract C-14-412 with Gray Bar Electric for the annual supply of small miscellaneous household batteries. The amendment provides for the price increases as shown on
Batteries.
attachment A.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. J is an agreement with Cardiac Science Corporation, the City of Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the Lincoln-Lancaster County Public Building Commission for automated external defibrillators. Pricing will be pursuant to Purchasing Solutions Alliance Contract Number 14-100, dated September 15th, 2014.
Move approval?
Second?
Discussion? These devices are placed in the hallway and in the major buildings of Lancaster County. They're one of those things we hope nobody ever has to use them, but we want them in operating condition if we do. Call the roll, please.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. K is a grant contract with Cedars Youth Services, Inc. to provide funding in amount of $20,000 for purchase of a 7-passenger van for transportation to and from reporting centers. Term of the contract is July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2015.
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. L is a grant contract with Cedars Youth Services, Inc. in the amount of $140,764 to provide funding for the day and evening reporting centers. Term of the contract is July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2015.
Move approval?
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5M is a grant contract with the City of Lincoln, Lincoln Police Department, in the amount of $36,649 to provide funding for the domestic violence specialist as part of Violence Against Women Act program, a coordinated response to reducing domestic violence. The city will contribute $12,217 in matching funds. Term of the contract is June 1st, 2014 to May 31st, 2015.
Move approval.
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. N is a grant contract with El Centro de Las Americas in the amount of $50,600 to provide funding for the Golden Warriors program. Term of the grant contract is July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2015.
Move approval.
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Raybold?
Yes.
Amundson?
Yes.
Smoyer?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5O is a settlement agreement between Lancaster County and Luella and Jerry Stratman.
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll.
Amundson?
Yes.
Smoyer?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Raybold?
Yes.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. P is an agreement between the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 2468, and Lancaster County for the contract term August 21st, 2014 through August 19th, 2015.
Doug McDaniel, Human Resources. We've concluded negotiations with ASME 2468. I think we've kept you apprised of those proceedings in executive session. In summary, this contract is a 2% increase, a one-year duration.
Okay. Mr. DeBoer?
Do I have to be sworn in?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I would just like to share a little bit about negotiations and where we're at as AFSCME 2468. I have it written down, and I've timed it at home, so I'm hoping to stay within that 5-minute time limit.
Okay.
This year, negotiations seem to be more of a struggle than in years past. AFSCME believes that is because the employees feel like they are not being treated fair. Oh yes, there is that wonderful word called comparability that the county uses to compare us to other counties in the array. But it seemed like comparability at times was a one-way street. When we tried to get things that were not 100%, that were 100% comparable, like uniforms or comp time instead of overtime, we were told no. But when we tried to get things back, some of the things that we have lost, like more personal holiday, longevity, and PEP, we were told that those things were not comparable, which is true. Yet, these are the same benefits that the unrepresented have never lost and are still receiving them today. When we asked about these things, we were told that if the board chooses to give the unrepresented those benefits, they can. That statement is true. However, the same can be done with the represented. As a matter of fact, it has not been that many years ago when we all got the same benefits. Now you may think, no, we can't do the same with the represented as we do with the unrepresented. The law says that we have to be comparable, but that is not true. The truth is that you have to be at least comparable. Now you may ask, why would we give over comparability when we don't have to? But maybe the board recognizes the fact that when you give a little bit more, then you will be able to attract the high quality and keep the high quality of employees that you already have. It is a proven fact that if you give employees and if you give them and treat them well, then they will be more content, work harder, and be more productive. The county has very intelligent department heads and directors that are quite capable to adjust their budgets where it would not be a burden on the taxpayers. And if that is not possible or they're not able to do that, then the question is, why is our taxpayer dollars going to benefits that are not comparable? A few months ago, I was before this board stating that when you give different benefits to those in the same department, you would have problems. Today, AFSCME Engineering is agreeing to this contract because we believe it is close to comparability, and we wanted to avoid CIR. Because when CIR gets involved, it's the taxpayers who usually lose the most. Today, we are receiving a 2% comparability raise. On my salary, that would give me a $36 a month increase after the insurance increase, which is slightly just over $1 a day. Whereas a 3% cost of living raise to the unrepresented, like our supervisors or road superintendent, after the insurance rate increase will give them anywhere from $118 a month to $149 a month increase, or a $3.93 a day to almost a $5 a day increase. Maybe that's why Commissioner Rabel was quoted saying, I have a hard time giving the unrepresented a 3% increase when 2.25 is comparable. AFSCME has tried several times to meet with the board and bring this to the board's attention. Excuse me. But we were denied because we were in negotiations at that time. Now that negotiations are over, it's time to bring things out in the open so we can possibly work together for the better of everyone in the future.
Well, thank you for your comments, Mr. DeBoer, and you've been a very responsible leader for your newly formed AFSCME, and we appreciate all the hard work that the engineers do to run this county, and certainly your taxpayers, just like everyone else, and so you don't want to see anything done to jeopardize the county, and all I can say is we're going to try our best to treat you fairly in the future.
I appreciate that, sir, and you always have. But when things started changing and stuff like that, I just needed to let the board be aware of that, because you might not be aware of it, that what the attitude is out there and stuff like that, and we want to keep the high quality of work going that we do, and we want to be able to go the extra mile. And so I'm not here complaining, you know. I know that if, and this is more of a personal note than a union note, but I know that when you work side by side together, you know, you'd like to be treated the same, and we've never asked for more than what the unrepresented was getting. And I understand that unions sometimes leave a bad taste in people's mouth, and that is not what I'm about, or not what AFSCME is about. We try to make it a positive input in the community and the counties. It is a great place to work, and thank you for your service. Thank you for your time, especially those two of you who are going off for this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The board's indulgence, maybe for our listening audience, it may be important to realize that in the process of negotiations, it's a give and take process. And that is what negotiations is about. You give here, you take here, you move and balance back and forth. We are bound by the laws of the state for comparability. That's how measurement is done in terms of compensation and benefits. And for the benefit of those who may not be aware, the 2% is above comparability. And so therefore the board has been generous in this instance and has agreed, at least unless you decide not to vote and ratify this contract, but you have awarded something above comparability for this group. You have also awarded something in terms of single health insurance, which is still above comparability at 5%. So with that, Human Resources would urge ratification of the agreement, even if it's a 1 year. And again, we continue to work in both the employees' benefit and the taxpayers' interest as well.
Director Engineer Dingman, do you have some comments you'd like to make?
A question while Pam's coming up, if I could. We've talked a lot about the salary and the health insurance, but how many different issues were discussed over the point of negotiations? I know you carry a gigantic notebook, so there were probably, 24 different issues that were brought up over the span? I guess I'm just trying to make a point of how expansive negotiations can be.
Thank you.
So why Doug is looking for that, what he's looking for is he has two lists, the list of the things that we wanted at the county, and then the list of the things that the union asked for.
The union had 17 proposals in terms of going into negotiations, and the county had 15 proposals. Okay.
Right.
So you're right. It's varied in nature, anything that involves wages, hours, and working conditions.
Okay. Thank you for that information.
And Engineer Dingman, this was your first negotiations. I can just tell you from the union side, she went in telling us how proud she is of you and the work that you do, and wanted these negotiations settled without going to the CIR, and the board did too. And President DeBoer, you're absolutely right. If we go to court way, the lawyers win on both sides, and there's less resources to go in the past. I see Melvin Moore, past president of ASME, in the audience this morning, and Melvin was always of that nature too. If we could give it to you in benefits so that didn't get eaten up in taxes, that was a route that we tried to go. And certainly you make a point, equity, when you're dealing with this many bargaining agents, some years some entities get a little ahead of others, and then I think that was part of the case with the unrepresented this year. It was kind of a catch-up for maybe things that they hadn't gotten in years past. But it's a tough balancing act, but we appreciate all of you staying with it till you worked out an agreement. And probably nobody's 100% satisfied, but there's always next year, and we appreciate you bringing those concerns before us. Pam, anything you'd like to say? You
I was wondering when I was going to get to be able to talk, Commissioner Hudkins. I did sit in. We did negotiate for 50 hours for this particular contract in 2-hour increments. I did sit in on all of the negotiation meetings, except for one where I had Ken Schroeder, county surveyor, sit in my absence. With that being said, there was a number of things that we have talked about, and there's a number of changes that have been implemented at the county this year. Everything from, yes, the 1908 machine that used to make snow chain is gone. I mean, it's not only been locked out, tagged out, but it was pulled out into the parking lot and sold at auction. Many safety procedures have been put into effect for these ladies and gentlemen who work diligently in our right-of-way. And I think we have to remember that the jobs that they do for us in the right-of-way day in and day out are not always, they're on the hottest of hot days and the coldest of cold days. When we had the Veterans Day snow event, our people were out, even though it was a paid holiday, they were out at 5 a.m. Cleaning and sanding those roads. I myself rode in a snowplow with one of our fine employees that day, and I would welcome any of you who had the opportunity to join us for one of those ride-alongs so that you can see the day-to-day work that we do in the county right away. We've come a long way in a year. Rome wasn't built in a year, so we have a lot further to go. As interesting as it is to stand here and talk about this contract with you today, we might note that it's a 1-year contract and we're in December. So I guess we'll start negotiating again come about May. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, and I know that Mr. DeBoer is going to keep his fingers crossed too.
got him. That's proof.
As well as Mr. McDaniels, that we don't have to use 50 hours again. And like I said, I hope when we come to the table next year that there'll be a lot more spirit of cooperation on both sides. And I know that I'll come to the table much more educated than I was last year. So thank you.
Thank you for your hard work and for your report. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
We don't have a motion yet.
Okay, then let's
I
go.
move that we accept the agreement.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Now, any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Between Thomas Peed, trustee of the Thomas Peed Revocable Trust, and Rhonda Peed, trustee of the Rhonda Peed Revocable Trust, and Lancaster County.
Second?
Discussion?
This is
Wanna thank-
go ahead. You're saying exactly what I was going to say.
Want to
Right.
thank Brittany Behrens for all the extra work that she put in on this. I know that we've been at it probably 5 or 6 years, and maybe even more of that in the planning stages.
10.
And Engineer Dingman, thank you for your leadership this last year in getting this. And I'm going to take the liberty, if this passes afterwards, to call former Commissioner Bernie higher, because this was on his plate for the entire 12 years that he was here.
And also thank you to our city counterparts who worked as well, Roger Feigard and their talents.
Clint Thomas, and this will be a Ruts Road, one of those. It's designed, it's in the county yet, but it will design to take the city footprint as we go forth. It's a city-county cooperative road, so that we are looking towards the future. As Kit told us, human services, we look towards the future. Engineering, we are too, and the Ruts Roads is one of the things that we've implemented over the last few years. It's certainly a step in the right direction. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold, Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5R is a settlement agreement and release between Par 5 Partners LLC and Lancaster County.
Move approval.
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer, Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. S is agreement with Sovol Solutions LLC for professional consulting services to establish caseload standards for the Lancaster County Attorney's Office. The county will pay $90 per hour for up to 60 hours of work. Term of the agreement is July 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2014.
Move approval.
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. T is an agreement with Sovol Solutions LLC for implementation of the recommendations of the Lancaster County Indigent Defense Advisory Committee to decrease the cost of legal services in Lancaster County. The county shall pay $90 per hour, up to 180 hours for the services provided. Term of the agreement is July 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2014.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. U is an amendment to County Contract C-13-493 between the City of Lincoln and Lancaster County. The amendment extends the grant term to December 31st, 2014.
Move approval?
Second.
This is
Discussion?
just a little bit unclear, but it's a grant contract between the city and Lincoln regarding VPC,
Yes.
CVB tourism funds. It's just in reference to that.
Thank you for that clarification, Commissioner Shore. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5V is amendment to County Contract C-12-181 with Waugie Drug Company for pharmacy services for general assistance. The amendment assigns Waugie's responsibilities under contract to Cole's Pharmacy.
Move approval?
Second?
With thanks to Waugie Drug for servicing our general assistance patients for so many years and struggling with us through those early, probably 10 years ago when we took the service over from the state. They were very cooperative to work with, and we certainly wish Mr. Waugie best wishes on his retirement.
Like to echo those thoughts. Many times we had problems with the Health and Human Services Division getting our payments through and getting them processed, and Waugie worked with us so that we could continue those services. If you'd like to come
Yeah,
up,
come on
why
up.
we'd sure like to hear from you. Please come up to the microphone, identify yourself for the
Morning, Commissioners.
viewing public.
My name is Dennis Tegmeyer. I'm an attorney. I represent Waugie Drug. Gary Ronick is present. He's the president of Waugie Drug.
Gary.
And we would thank you for the opportunity and working with us for this transaction. And I believe Mr. Ronick would like to say a few
Right.
words.
I just, I've worked with the General Assistance Program since I started here in 1977. And I agree, I appreciate the county board very much. I remember leaving a couple of messages for Larry about Union Bank willing to, if the county commissioners would co-sign with me, we could go another $1 million in debt, but
That's the type of commitment it took just for the continuum of service. And these are our most vulnerable population that needed these drugs and things. And Gary went to the extreme. I don't know another independent businessman that would have gone to those lengths to try to help us out.
so I want to thank you for working with me on this and for authorizing those claims every meeting. You do that so well. And the thing I wanted you to know is this is a 2-year process that I've been going through on Waggy Drug, getting it sold. And one of the major things is that I wanted it to go to somebody who was going to take it, continue the things that we were doing, continuing the programs. And for Kohl's, this is a very important issue, that they get permission to have this and keep it going. And so I can, with good faith, recommend that this is a good deal. This is a win-win for the county and the city. And I will be there. I'm going to go part-time. I'm going to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that's like. And, but I'm looking forward to that. And I just want to give you my commitment as it goes forward that I'm going to be intimately involved with Kohl's on continuing not only this program, but the very many programs that Waggy Drug has been a very important part in this city and this county. So thank you.
What year did Waggy Drug open? All I can go back is into the late 40s. I used to go in there with my
90th year.
90th year.
February 1924.
1924.
Yep.
Well, my grandpa used to take me in there, and we would get an ice cream cone because you had a soda fountain.
Which, if you, my grandson Moses, he's 7 years old.
He's on the commercials.
Commercial. And so yeah, we're giving away ice cream cones, hooked up with Dairy Queen. But yeah, that's been a very fun thing. And I guess I hear Moses and I are to continue doing commercials even afterwards. So,
Okay, well, celebrity in our midst here.
again, thank you.
And thanks to Kohl's for stepping up, and as transitions take place, it looks like this is going to be a very positive one for the community.
Very good.
Thank you for approving this amendment in your time.
Thanks, Gary.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please, Dan.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. W is Lancaster County's Equal Employment Opportunity Program Short Form and Utilization Report.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. X is designation of official Lancaster County newspapers for 2015 publication of transportation projects as follows: the Lincoln Journal-Star, the Voice of Hickman, the News of Waverly, the Crete News, and the Seward County Independent.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? We appreciate all these papers, not only printing the official notices, but also doing news stories to let the readership know about what's going on in the county, as well as the Lancaster County Extension News, a vital way of getting county information out. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5Y is a political subdivision tort claim filed against Lancaster County Corrections by Joe B. Stauber for lost property in amount of $5.
Based on the recommendation of the Director of Corrections, I move we deny.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Sawyer,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Z is a political subdivision tort claim filed against Lancaster County Corrections by Renee Warner for lost property amount of $17.
Based on the recommendation of the Director of Corrections, I move we deny.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Sawyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 6, public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
Anyone wishing to speak on public comment, please come forward. And I see we have a familiar face.
Been a long time. Kim Casper. First, would like to wish everybody here a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
May it be a good one for y'all. I am not up here as a union representative, so we need to be very clear on this one. But I want to kind of address some of the things that Rick addressed, and I'm looking more towards the PEP or the lack of PEP that go to certain classifications, and the fact that it was taken away, not negotiated away from various groups. And again, with that much being said, the other groups that do get it, whether it was negotiated, whether it was given. And it appears that anybody at this point, if you look at it, the people that are with the ICMA group are the ones that are receiving it countywide, where the rest of us, where we opted not to go with ICM stayed with the nationwide group, were then denied that benefit. I look at it in a lot of ways, and one of them being, we're all county employees. We all should be entitled to the same benefits and aspect. In my case, I'm aging. I'm not going to be around forever. And that's one of those benefits that as we start nearing those senior years or those retirement years, it's one of those benefits that is going to be advantageous for us. As it sits now, our accounts are just sitting idle. We're not drawing anything into them, and we're trying to make back what could be there. If you look at it a little further, and I kind of looked into this a little bit, the city stayed with Nationwide. Their benefits are phenomenal as what the city does as far as our donations into their accounts. The benefits not only for the employees getting that PEP account and keeping that active, there's also the benefit for the taxpayers and the county as to the tax write-offs. And I'm thinking there's maybe around 300 employees in the county. I'm thinking between at least the two unions and the represented in that aspect that aren't getting that benefit. And that can, again, help the county with their tax base and things like that. So, I'm really just asking on behalf. It's a non-comparable issue when it comes down to any kind of a negotiation or anything like that, but it's a benefit that should be awarded to all employees, and it shouldn't matter if you're nationwide, it shouldn't matter if you're ICMA, it should come across for that little bit of contribution that the county was given. I think at the time was $17.50 a pay period, $36 a month. It's not that much to take that forward and again return it back to the rest of the people that, again, as we age out, as we may need it for health conditions, as it may be needed before then, things like that. It's something that should really take a serious look again from the county board and try and move forward with it. Move forward with it again. So, and that's, there's a lot of things that are different with the way the unions are set up now and things like that, but the one thing that really brings me back to this board is when I was here a lot and seeing you guys, there was a cutting edge. Lancaster County was doing a cutting edge. It was leading the way, and I kind of see it now sitting in the back seat. It's kind of fallen behind, and there's other places that are kind of stepping up to the plate and taking over and leading the way, and we're kind of starting to fall back a little bit in some of these places when it comes to the employees and some stuff like that, where I think we need to just kind of step back forward and you've got good employees. There's a phenomenal bunch of employees, and it doesn't matter if you're at the bottom or if you're at the top. There's a great bunch of Kit's a prime example. Never had the honor to work with her, but just looking at what Kit's done, she's done some phenomenal work, and there's people that have that ability that can bring that ability forward too, but maybe we might just run them out a little bit because our benefits are kind of taking a back seat in some places, or there's just something that's not going to bring them out of their little shells. So let's see if we can get Lancaster County back into the forerunners instead of the back seat and move us forward a little bit further and do what we're here to do.
Well, Kim, you certainly make a good point with PEP. It's planning for the future. When our no longer have paid health insurance to help pay for those things or those bridge policies that we're all going to need. And certainly we hated to do it, but we had some real budget crunches for the last 4 years. Hopefully we're out of those, and so as we move forward, maybe we can consider some of these things again. Thank you, and thanks for bringing forth your views.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Moore, how's retirement? Do you have time to ride that motorcycle? I'll bet you didn't bring it today, did you?
No, road of land. Well, I guess.
Identify yourself for the record. We know you, but please identify yourself.
I used to be president of ASME about 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh.
I think I know most of you. I met Rama this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a better board than I used to have to dress. Some of them didn't like me too well. But anyway, I'd like to start out, I guess, by talking about comparability. Well, first, I guess before I start on comparability, I'd like to get rid of the 5-minute thing. I can understand if we have people out to the street waiting to talk, but otherwise, I think we ought to let people talk 5, 6, 7 minutes if they want to. I've been getting asthma real bad, and I can't talk as fast as I used to. But I'd like to address comparability. Now, Mr. McDaniels was right. You have to go by comp law, and I'm not an attorney, but you can be above comparability if you want to. There's nothing saying you have to just be on comparability. Now, it's been said at different times that the unrepresented were behind, so basically give them a little extra. I don't know if they're behind or not. Maybe they are. Some of them departments, I don't even know where you'd go to get a comparability study on them, to be real honest with you. But
True.
One thing is for certain, and that is that your own people, your little people, are behind comparability almost all year long. Now, I don't know if that's ever been brought to your attention. I know you have a lot of things to worry about besides comparability. I understand that. But your union people, your little people, are behind comparability almost from the get-go. They chase the tail all year long. You sign a contract, hopefully you sign it in September. Maybe 6 weeks, 7 weeks later, county comes in, 2%, 3%. Maybe 2 months later, another one comes in, maybe another 6 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 more comes in. And as this goes on, you get behind comparability all the time. So when you say that you bring them up to comparability, that's exactly what you do. You bring them up to comparability. And the rest of the year, they get further and further and further behind. They keep chasing the tail. And September 1st, hopefully, they grab the tail. They have it for maybe 6 weeks, and they get behind again. So instead of worrying about the $100,000 people, I'd like to see you worry about the little people. The only way to make sure your little people are comparable is you either start them about 1.25% above comparability or 1.5% above comparability, and then averages out. Or you give them extra fringes during the year, such as PEP or longevity or stuff like that. Now, I guess the other thing I'd like to speak about is PEP itself and longevity real quick. Longevity is not comparable. Fine, get rid of it. Quite frankly, it took the employees quite a bit to get that through their head, but it's not comparable. Since it's not comparable, get rid of it. But PEP is an extremely good program. I mean, it's you couldn't ask for a better program. No taxes in, no taxes out, and hopefully, if you don't get stuck in a money market, you are going to hopefully make some money while it's there. Now, it's not comparable, but just about everybody has it except old ASME, which is ASME and FOP now. But the only people that don't get it is corrections, and they never negotiated it for whatever reason. But PEP is a program that, while it is not comparable, There are certainly ways that you could give it to the employees. You can you can negotiate for them to pay for most of it, if nothing else. They should certainly be pushed to have it. I mean, it's about the best program the county ever had. Well, Larry was pretty responsible for getting it in there, one of the people responsible. And the union was, of course, we didn't turn it
Together
down.
on it.
But that should definitely be put back in, no matter what you got to do it. And Merry Christmas.
Same to you, Melvin.
Thank you.
Thank you for your past service. Anyone else? Welcome, Gary.
I must be the guy you're looking for this segment. Chair Hudkins, members of the board, for the record, Gary Aldridge, ALDRIDGE, 7112 South 45, Lincoln, Lancaster County, Nebraska, 68516. I'm one of the owners. I add that last to remind myself and this board, especially this body, why I'm here. I do not want to be here. I do not enjoy being here. Perhaps I will come back to that in another meeting. I will step back and make an observation. My wife and I, joint tenants, WROS, received a greetings in the mail from Andy Stebbing Friday last. Most of you have or will receive this greeting, not to be confused with a Christmas greeting, stamped in red on the outside, official tax statement enclosed. Perhaps, quite by coincidence, there was an Our View opinion piece in the Journal Star, 15 December 2014, yesterday, titled Focus on Property Taxes. The 49 Amigos will be in session soon, and the twin darlings they must, may, or will approach are unfunded mandates and property taxes. Somewhere down the road, I will share with you my thoughts on both. Some, most, or all of this board will not like some, most, or all of those thoughts. But for now, Chair Hudkins, I have some questions about board procedures and protocols, clarification on what may be called housekeeping chores. First is transparency. Does the board have standing rules of procedure in print that are accessible to or available to the general public?
I believe we do, and they would be on file at the clerk's office.
Okay, they don't live somewhere on the internet.
They do. Go to the county clerk's website and you'll see the county board guidelines, meeting guidelines.
Okay. Yep. Uniformity. Is it the policy of the board that any and all standing rules of procedure are applied uniformly, the same from meeting to meeting and person to person?
We try to be uniform in the delivery of those.
Okay. Speaking, during new business, when motions are on the floor and procedural rules during new business, when motions are on the floor, do procedural rules allow the board to accept comments from citizens?
Yes.
The last is timing. When a citizen is recognized or claims the floor, that speaker is limited to 5 minutes with some discretion. I know you've extended that to me. You control the clock, I control the microphone. Who keeps the clock?
Clerk's office is recording clerk.
When does the time start?
Talking.
Does the speaker get an advisory at some measured time, 30 or 60 seconds, prior to the recognition expiring?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else? If not, we thank you for your participation. And Mr. Clerk, will you proceed with announcements, please?
The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, December 18th, 2014 at 8:30 a.m. in the Bill Luxford Studio of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will not hold meetings on Tuesday, December 23rd, 2014 or Tuesday, December 30th, 2014 due to the holidays. The next regular meeting will be held on Tuesday, January 6, 2015 at 10:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building with the Board of Equalization immediately following. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, January 6, 2015 at 10:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building regarding a request to vacate Southwest 31st Street, south of West Denton Road to the north lot line of Outlet I in the Bridges Addition, Lancaster County, Nebraska. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live. It is rebroadcast on Tuesday and Saturday on 5 City TV, cable channel 5. In addition, the meeting may be viewed on the internet at lancaster.ne.gov under 5 City TV, video on demand, or 5 City TV on YouTube.
Move we adjourn?
Second.
Will you call the roll, please?
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer, Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We'll close the regular county board meeting and wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year. With that, we'll open the Lancaster County Board of Equalization for Tuesday, December 16th.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from county clerk staff. The material can also be viewed on his county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Also in attendance this morning is Scott Gaines from the County Assessor's Office. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Tuesday, December 9th, 2014.
Move approve?
Second.
Are there additions or corrections? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Abstain.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 4 yes, 1 abstention. Number 2 are motor vehicle tax exemption applications for Alon Chapel Church, Central States Conference, Cedars Youth Services, Grace Lutheran Church, Emmanuel Retirement Communities, Lincoln Cats Youth Group, Madonna Rehabilitation Hospital, People's City Mission, and Vital Services, Inc.
Move approval of the motor vehicle tax exemptions.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Raybold,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Smoyer,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 3 is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to County Board of Equalization business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
Anyone wishes to speak? If not, proceed with adjournment, please.
Move we adjourn?
Second.
Call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Hudkins.
We stand adjourned. Thank you for your time and attention.